Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, guys. What's up? How you doing, everyone? I hope you all in a good condition. Keep safe and always stay positive.
Yeah, so welcome back to SEF Indisc Podcast, everyone. Podcast that can be your Sat Night soulmate.
Yes, with me, Oki Sharudin, and next to me, I have an amazing answer with my bro, Kaditya Mujibakti Wicaksana.
Thank you, okay. So what's up, everyone? It's glad to be back here, right? Okay.
Yes, of course, we're really happy because tonight is the third episode of our podcast.
And not just that, we'll bring you to the more interesting discussion with us and one special guest star with a lot of experiences and achievements as a college student.
Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Kak Putri Ramadani.
Yay! Hello, Kaputi. How are you today?
Okay, hi, I'm doing really good. Thanks for asking. How about you too?
Okay, Kaputi. I'm doing good as well too, Kaputi. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
I'm doing good as well, Kak. So, okay guys, do you know that Kak Putri actually is one of mahasiswa berprestasi in Unsoed? And so we're really honored that you want to be our first guest star for SEF in this podcast tonight. So thank you very much for your time, Kak. And actually, I have a few questions for you. First, maybe about yourself, the mahasiswa berprestasi. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how you achieve that? Is it really busy and so hard to becoming like you?
Okay, first thing first, I'm going to say thank you because I'm invited in this SEF in this podcast. It is my honor. And okay, about the mahasiswa berprestasi, it is called as outstanding student, and we are familiar to be called as mahasiswa berprestasi. Actually, I got the second place in Faculty of Biology. That time, I'm in my second year as a collegian in semester 4 last year, actually. And to be honest, I've already known the Mawapres since my high school year. In high school, I'm a previous English graduate, and my coach is from Unsoed. And during our training, mentioned about the Mawapres, and she told me that she was going to join that event. So I was curious and searched for a bit into internet. By the way, becoming Mawapres is honestly in my wish list or in my dream list during my college. Because in Mawapres, we are evaluated by the judges from several perspectives, which are competence, academic performance, and also the character. So, and for my competence, I achieved some medals from my field, which is research, and I'm more focused in microbiology, honestly. And it is good if you're smart, but the most important thing is, be a good person. And I thought by joining the Pemilihan Mawapres itself, it helped me to stay on the track to move forward to achieve my dream. Okay, thank you. That's kind of long.
Okay, that's really, a wow information from Kaputi experience. And I think that's a kind of motivational and inspirational too for us, the youngsters.
Oh yes, for sure, for sure. What an inspirational experience, right? And there we have it, everyone, our guest star for tonight's podcast. And by the way, what is exactly are we going to discuss tonight, Adhit?
Okay, so what are we going to discuss tonight is going to be a really interesting topic, dude. Just like our
Alright.
theme tonight, we are about to talk something that really close to us.
Yo, what's that, bro? Is it climate change?
No, that's not a climate change that we are gonna discuss tonight. It is about floods, by the way, and about the climate change itself is already been discussed in our previous podcast with Katera.
Oh, oh yeah, I see. But I think when we talk about flood, I think it's a common thing that usually happens in Indonesia, bro. Since we have tropical climate in our country, that huge rain is usually being a common thing, especially in the rainy season.
Yeah, that's true. But have you guys ever wondered that this year in 2021, floods are almost happening across big cities in Indonesia, where it usually happens in a particular city like Jakarta, right? But
Yeah.
before we talk about floods too far, let me explain to you guys the definition of flood itself. So basically, and with simple words, flood is a condition when water submerges the land that is really dry. Floods
Okay.
can look really different because it's a condition that covers anything from a few inches of water to several feet of water.
Oh yeah, I see. But maybe yeah, what we look best on what happened to few months when floods affect several big cities in Indonesia, we see that the condition of floods itself submerged the land like about 6 feet or 2 meters tall,
Oh
which I
god.
think is really bad, bro. And what do you guys think the cause of the flood itself?
Yeah, that's actually really bad. It's until up to 6 feet. So, based on some sources, that are several causes of flood itself. So, one of the causes is what happened in our country, Indonesia. It is climate change driven global warming, which becoming a factor behind several flooding.
Oh yeah. I actually do agree with climate change that becoming a factor that causes flood in our country with heavy rain that occurs so often this year. And I wanna ask the Kaputri, what can you see from the condition of the 2021 flood, Kak? What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, okay. Flood is the disaster that faced by many people in many regions since back then till now, and it surely brings out many losses. The flood itself is can be caused by several factors. First is the loss of tree, meaning not enough trees to absorb the water when rainfall, and it is also related with forest logging and illegal mining. Secondly, it is also related with the extreme weather because high intensity of rainfall will surely cause flood in some regions. And the third, it is lack of drainage system. The fourth is topography because lower areas might experience flood the most during the year. And the fifth is the human error. It is us because of us.
Okay.
Maybe we litter in the river or we do illegal logging and etc. Surely it it creates some losses. I will highlight three, which are safety, health, and the economical loss. Yeah, that's from me.
Okay, yeah, I got the point, Kak Putri. That's several things, yeah, on why the flood is occurred. So, comments on the flood itself. By the way, have you ever thought, guys, here, have you ever thought why this always occur annually? Why this flood is always occur annually? Is this being the government faults?
Oh, bro, why you think just like that?
Okay, so first thing first, I will say this with no offense, okay? So, have you ever imagined like when the rainy season comes to our country, there is always some flood news on our TV,
Yeah.
on our handphone, and etc. Especially in our capital city, it's occurred. It is like there is no good management on it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think, in my opinion, it was one of many factors why this flood is becoming an annual event. We could see it on the drainage system, including few basket or mini forests and beach, and also Jakarta rivers that always full of garbage. From the citizens' perspective, this is a part of bad infrastructure management by Jakarta's government. Seems like their effort is effortless because the drainage was still no longer functional, and furthermore, like the rivers, in example like Ciliwung rivers, it was one of many rivers in Jakarta that has a bad condition and known as one of the dirtiest and most polluted rivers around the world.
Oh,
And I think it's emphasized that Jakarta's flood management was still out of good words, I think.
okay, yeah, for sure. That's what I'm thinking, dude. That's what I'm thinking. Like the management or regulation is still not good enough. So, how about you, Kak Putri? To what's it called? Comments on these cases. What do you see from the government's regulation on preventing the floods?
Yeah, okay. I'm actually agree about that. Like the drainage system, river, many forests are kind of less effective. But I think we need to look after this problematic annual event on its other side. Here's the thing. Full garbage river don't you guys think that this is also because of us? It is because of the citizen. I mean, like, yeah, littering on rivers could be a reason that logically coming up because of human being characteristic.
Yeah, I think it's also makes sense, I guess. But are already keep everything clean by put waste in the garbage and throw it into the river or something like that. Which mean I think there's still lack of management by the government around there.
But yeah, from what I see from people in Jakarta, even though there are several people aware about flood and keep their environment clean, I think it's just a few people who actually do that, and many of them still not have the awareness to keep everything clean, like put garbage in its place and etc.
Okay, well, guys, okay, it's a hot discussion, right? I think it's a very interesting topic to discuss. But in my opinion, it could be both governments and people's fault. Okay, so both of them is actually fault. Based on the argument and the factual condition right there are still some people that is still not be aware to our importance of put trash in its place and keep the environment clean is the factual thing that happens also. We can still see it sometimes. However, the lack of the effectiveness regarding government management to handle the floods still can be the one of reason that also makes sense.
And plus, there are several areas that have a terrible weather condition, which can be one of the reasons floods occurred in several cities this year.
Yeah, yes, indeed. The weather are so terrible. And I think when we already talked a lot about that, what do you think, Kaputri, about our annual flood? Is there anything that you can conclude about it? Or maybe you have some solutions to it?
Yeah, for the conclusion, like I've mentioned before, like the causes, there are many causes, for example, loss of tree, extreme weather, human error, lack of drainage system, and etc. that impact to safety, health of the society, and also the economical loss because it disturbs the distribution of products, market products like that. And for the solution, how to overcome? Actually, we need a collaboration. It is not only from the government, but also us as the citizen and us as the individual. That is a crucial thing. It depends on the individual. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more, yeah, especially for us as the young generation. It's better for us to it's better to us to build a clean environment, like no trash around the street and less plastic use, guys.
Yeah, that's a really good point from Kak Putri and also Oki. So, what's next, dude? What's next, our podcast?
Yeah, I think since we already talked too much about this, to talk about a lot of information, I think that's gonna be all for our tonight's discussion. And we would like to say our biggest thank you to our guest star tonight, Putri, that already want to spare her time with us this evening and also willing to share her experiences and a lot of insight regarding our podcast discussion in this episode.
Okay, thank you so much, Kak Putri. And before we close to this podcast from Kak Putri, do you have anything that you want to say to our listeners out there on how to stay productive in this during pandemic situation or anything related to our discussion tonight?
Yeah, maybe it is just a gentle reminder for us. Most of us simplify small things. People say small steps create a better change, a bigger change. That means the step itself can be a good thing or a bad thing. If it is a good thing, then it will be a better change. If it is a bad thing, that surely will be the worst case. So somehow we have the power to control ourselves, whether we are going to be a good mankind or vice versa. It is a choice for us to be a savior or a destroyer. Okay.
Okay, good point. Okay, thank you so much, Kak Putri, for your like additional things and also some like solution right to our youngster out there and our listeners. Thank you so much, Kak Putri. And all right, in this mate, that is the end of our discussion tonight. Message for tonight is always aware of every condition that happens to us. Always look to something from a lot of perspective because we never know who's wrong and not. And the point is, while we living within a neighborhood with a lot of people in there, we just need to do everything that will give benefit to our environment. Always help each other and keep everything nice and clean.
Okay, so yeah, that's all for tonight's episode, guys. Hope we give you some knowledge and insights that you guys might not know before, since we have special guest star like Kaputri. And yeah, last but not least, stay tuned to our next F in this podcast episode with another spectacular theme, spectacular announcer and guest star. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, and make sure you guys hit that notification post to always stay updated. So, SEF Indisc Podcast.
A podcast that can be your Satmite soulmate. I'm Aditya Mujibakti Wicaksana.
And I'm Okky Syahruddin.
I'm Putri Ramadani.
1,
Three,
2, 3.
3. We're signing out.
Peace.
Peace.
Okay.